since we're Toastmasters, it's entirely fitting that we should be there should be a speech project called Mastering the Toast. In Project 1, Mastering the Toast, from Advanced Communication Series Manual, Special Occasion Speeches, Lloyd Smith, to us and to the U.S.
I don't know whether you've noticed it or not, but we're in the midst of a presidential campaign. And if you listen to all of the candidates in either party, the thing you've learned is that this country is apparently in terrible shape. There are a few rich people who are crushing the spirits and the will and the survival of all the rest of us. There are people who disrespect us around the world. There are terrorists waiting on street corners to assassinate all of us. There are dread diseases that are not being kept out of this country, and everything is going to hell in a handbasket. And the only way to fix it is if whoever is talking gets elected. Now, when I've been listening to that, I'm old enough to remember a lot of presidential campaigns, and I think back to things just in my lifetime. Actually, a little bit before my lifetime, now that I think about it. I'm old enough to be forgetful, too. I think about the Great Depression and World War II that followed closely upon it. Those were existential threats. The U.S. could have been destroyed by both of those, and our parents and grandparents did not let that happen. They pulled us through. A little bit after that, Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. Some of you may remember that. We came this close to fighting a nuclear war with the Russians. And as it happened, the Russians decided to back down at the last minute, and we did not fight that nuclear war. In the middle to late 1960s, is political turmoil, essentially caused by the Vietnam War. Our two political parties came very, very close to tearing themselves apart. The Republicans in 1964 and the Democrats in 1968, but it didn't happen. Both of the parties pulled themselves through. In 1974, we had a president of the United States forced to resign after he was impeached and would certainly have been convicted by the Senate. It looked like dire political times. It did not happen. The country pulled itself through. The 2001 World Trade Center attacks looked like the end of the world to lots of people. Did not happen. The 2008 financial crisis looked like the end of the line for lots of people. Did not happen. We pulled ourselves through. I have a lot of confidence in this country. I actually think that regardless of how difficult the problems are, it is very, very likely we will pull ourselves through. We live in an exceptional place. As Julie said, a place that's the envy of the rest of the world, and we should feel fortunate about that. So I would like to propose a toast to us, to all of us in this room, and to the U.S. And a toast.
We just made the wine.
Timer again, can we have a minute to write some notes to Lloyd?